All right, welcome. I want to make a quick little video of a walkthrough of question 2 of section 6.4 and just a way that I kind of organize this to make it a little bit easier for myself. So here is the formula for the test statistic, and I just copied and pasted these or snipped them from our formula sheet. So we're working with a t-test statistic because we know the sample standard deviations, and then we also need the standard error, and we have a formula here for the standard error. Now, I like to break this into parts because there's a lot to it, and I call this first piece here kind of the fancy fraction 1, and the second piece here fancy fraction 2. And it's because it sort of shows up quite a few times in when we're looking to find the degrees of freedom also. So I guess before that, I labeled these earlier, and so I'll just put the values in here for them. So just kind of reading from the problem here, these values, and then setting them up here for the n sub 2 or the second set of data here. A lot of times I'll do this as my first step for it. So I need to find the standard error, and as you can see, it's the standard deviation of the first sample squared divided by the size of that sample plus the standard deviation of the second sample squared divided by that sample. And this is where I set up the fancy fraction 1. So I'll just call it fraction 1. Whoops. I won't. I'll call it frac and then move over. And then fraction 2. Some people have asked about ways to kind of show the work here. So this is s sub 1 squared. So I'll click on this and square it, a little caret into 2, and divided by n sub 1. So this is my first fancy fraction. And I like using Excel for this because I can just let it do all the work. I don't need to worry about, I was equally improficient in having the errors there, about rounding these things. And then so the fraction 2 is the same thing but for the second one. So this will be equal to s sub 2, and I want to square it, divided by n sub 2, and then I'll kind of copy and paste that there. Now these get a little out of hand as far as the detail of the work there. So this first one is this piece, the second one here is this piece here, and to find the standard error, I just need to do the square root of the sum. So I'll just click on this one and add to it this one and close these, and this is my standard error. Now to find the test statistic, this didn't look quite right. I need to do the difference of the x's, the means, divided by the standard error. And so to do that, oops, I want an equal sign, not a plus. I'll just take x sub 1 and subtract x sub 2. That's the difference of the means, and then divide by the standard error. And there it is. We were supposed to round this to 2 decimal places, so that 503, excuse me, will go there, and here is our final answer. Now, if you have issues with these, sometimes it's useful to make the cells a little bit larger so that we don't have as much for rounding error, just in case. This one worked out pretty well for us here. Anyway, but this is just kind of the first step, and again, I'll set up these fancy fractions, is what I typically call them, because they show up again and again, making it just a little bit easier. I find using Excel here is a great tool, and as we go into modules 7 and 8, we're going to be doing even more in Excel. So anyway, here's a little walkthrough of how to do one of these. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.